And the Balmain team, a couple of youngsters in that side today. There's Simon Booth, and there's Laurie Nichols, their great cheerleader. Olsen Filipana, who'll be doing the goal kicking today. And looking at the Balmain side, Gary Jack at fullback, Wayne Pearce, the captain and lock, always gets through a lot of work, and Steve Martin, a halfback, a key man to try and enthuse their side. Coached by Frank Stanton, and perhaps one of the players instrumental in a lot of their success so far this season has been this big man in the prop forward position, Steve Roach. He came from Wollongong and has played for City and New South Wales. Canberra side out on the ground led by Ron Gitto, and today Nigel Wilson is playing in the pack because Grant Ellis and David Grant are out through injury. So it's much the same team as we saw last week. Mick Aldis at fullback, and a very keen pair of halves who do so much, O'Sullivan and Henjack. Their hooker, Jay Hoffman, has won a lot of ball for them after coming down from Brisbane to join the club last year, and he gets through a tremendous amount of work in defence. You'll see him on the ball all day. So it's Balmain kicking off into the breeze in his first half. Chris Ward officiating today. Olsen Filipana boots it into the breeze, and it goes down towards Gitto, who's going to send it back with the wind behind him. Well taken by Billy Kane. So Gary Cook, what do you think can happen in this game?
Well, I think two players on the Balmain side particularly stand out as the keys today. There he is now playing the ball, Captain Wayne Pearce, and also the big 5'8" Olsen Filipina. Now, I saw Balmain play last Sunday, and these two players stood out. Balmain overall didn't play all that well, but it's going to be interesting to see whether Henjack can contain Filipina, who I'm sure will try and run over him today. Otherwise, Canberra in with a good chance. They played exceptionally well last Saturday to beat Manly, and I'm looking forward to what should be an absorbing struggle.
Will Balmain get a penalty within a minute of the kick-off? And Olsen Filipina, who did have an injury or two a few weeks back after the match against Great Britain when he was playing for New Zealand, has recovered well enough from that, and he's in a fairly handy position to try and add 2 points. Filipina, a short run in, a lot of power behind this right boot, and has he got the accuracy? It looks all right, it's there. First points to the Tigers. Olsen Filipina boots it through. It's 2-0 to Balmain. Gitto ready to kick off. It goes down to Filipina, juggling it. Jack's with him. He has a go on his own, and it takes a bit to put him down. In previous matches between these clubs, Balmain having strong wins, except earlier this year when they were very narrow winners over the Raiders at Seaford. It's Clark playing it. Steve Martin. Back to Jack. Roach. Nigel Wilson doing the low tackle. Last one, Elias hurriedly got it away. Hoffman coming through. Corkery. Gilbert, Lance and Bacco. Watch those three Canberra players. They do a lot of work for the team. There's Wilson crashing up. Henjack, blindside, O'Sullivan. Filipana comes up. Henjack looks for touch, hurriedly. Simon Booth's got it. 2-0 to Balmain. Gary Jack. Billy Kane. Balmain. Got the younger players in the pack. Roach. Nicely inside to Martin. Bacco made the tackle. Martin's been hurting it. Elias up the middle. Split them. Last one coming up. Jack for the corner post. Corkery chases it. He almost grounded that in goal. Steve Martin still down. Lance plays it. Mark Brennan. Bacco. Kane and Elias, good on the tackle. Craig Bellamy having a fine run there down the flank. Gitto's kick, chased by Jack. Jack has Booth with him. Dean Lance up for the tackle. Booth again. Roach inside to Kane. Well, one person who'll be looking forward to Balmain doing well in this game is Frank Standen, because they've got 2 tough matches after this. If they win them, they can make the semis. Filipana. Roach. Pierce. Elias. Into some space. Billy Walker's chasing it. Walker had a strong game last week, and that's a good head-on tackle from Stephen Humphries. Penalty, must be. Well, Don Ferner has seen his team win a number of games away from home, but if he ever wanted them to win away, it's today. Gitto fires it into the Robinson stand and finds touch. Brennan. It's Paul Clark defending there. This is his 3rd full game in first grade for the Tigers. Good defence again. Hardwick coming in with Billy Kane, the 2 second rowers. Bacco. Sullivan, Gitto, good break, he's got support, and away it goes, and this should be a try to O'Sullivan right under the posts. Good try that one. Good backing up by Chris O'Sullivan. Now it was played, O'Sullivan fired it on, and it was Mick Aldous, the fullback, coming into the line. He made a good break. O'Sullivan, who threw the pass, supported him on the inside, took it, the defence was beaten, and that was it. Chris O'Sullivan putting it down under the post for his 6th try of the season. And Gitto adds the extras to give the Raiders a good lead in this first half. Well, there's Aldous in from fullback. He did have a good game last week. Was very confident at fullback. That's a strong run from him. And he's put O'Sullivan away for a fine try. He really did make a mess of the defence. And O'Sullivan finished it off brightly. Get on the right side of the referee, you can do it. If you know what I mean. It's the side he can't see. Gilbert.
Get on Delhi.
Aldous, a hurried one, out on the full. They're going to kick, they needed to do it a bit earlier. Didn't seem to be able to make up their minds whether they're going to run or kick. There's a bit of tentative treading across the paddock. And now touch judges come in to report something.
Paul Clark, the Balmain prop, and I suspect this is for the incident where we saw the Canberra fullback Nick Aldous taken out of the play when he went through as a decoy. But obviously he wasn't considered by the touch judge to be serious, otherwise he wouldn't have let it go as long. I'd say he's probably hit him around the chest.
Ryan feeds it and it's a Tiger win. Filipana. Jack on the blind side. Had to go on his own and they've got him into touch. Well, Balmain trying to show a little bit of initiative on the blind side, but the Canberra defence was quick. They seem to be working a lot of plays around Filipana in attack, maybe too many, Gary.
I think so, yes. He's been well contained by Ivan Henjak, and he's also had support he needed because there's not much of Henjak, and Filipana's a very big, bulky man, especially when he gets moving. Now, here's a penalty, a Balmain penalty, and I suspect that that's for a collapsed scrum. We only have to look to see who's last up off the ground, and sure enough, Jay Hoffman, the Canberra hooker.
Humphreys boots it cleanly into touch. Pierce. Well, the Tigers have got their fans behind them now. Can they do something? On the blind side, Hardwick almost squeezed through. Backo was over there. Not far from the line. They bustle it back to Ryan. Ryan sees a bit of a gap. It wasn't there. Lance has got him onto the ground. Play to Elias. Now he goes. Well, there's a lot of uncertainty about Balmain's attack. Roach having a crack at them. Well, they might score through persistency of going one out, but you wouldn't back them at the moment. Last tackle, Ryan. Chip kick. Close. Knocked dead by Billy Walker. Clever little kick. Maybe just a bit too deep there, but got in behind the defence.
Yes, it was a nice bit of variation, but you're right, Jim. It didn't give the attackers the chance to get up there, and you'll see how Walker wasn't under all that much pressure to knock this one dead.
Gitto sends it back towards Gary Jack. Jack onto it. Revs up. Leans left and right. Hardwick. Roach to Billy Kane. Backo over there quickly.
Backo's come off the worst of that. He certainly hurt himself. He's in a lot of pain.
He's done his knee. Clark. He is writhing in agony. It's his knee. It's his left knee. Short kick. Wilson couldn't get it cleanly. Penalty. Tackled after he kicked it. Elias was tackled. 10 minutes in the sin bin.
Chris O'Sullivan's gone for 10 minutes.
O'Sullivan, the perpetrator of the late tackle. Chris Ward straight away sent him to the sin bin.
Let's have a look at it again. A little kick, Elias. Just watch how he's taken up. Yes, right around the neck. A good decision. The referee had his eye on it, and penalty, and also 10 minutes in the sin bin for Chris O'Sullivan for what's commonly known as a professional foul. Have another look at it This is the injury. Bacco coming in very hard on this tackle on Kane. Now watch as he goes across. He twists that left knee, hits the ground, keeps rolling, and he's in a lot of pain.
Filipana kicks the goal. So the Tigers behind by only 2 points now. Canberra 6, Balmain 4. And a stretcher has come on for Bacco. And this is a real blow, not only for him, but really for the Canberra side. He's been a tremendous force in that second row, throwing himself into tackles, into play all the time.
Yes, he certainly tamed that Manly Warringah pack last week. I think he was, without doubt, the best player. Here he is. He's scorning the camera, the stretcher, I should say. He doesn't want it. He's going to, in fact, he's not even going to come off.
He's a true Viking, that man. A true Viking. Going to press on. I hope he can keep going for Canberra's sake. But he doesn't look too comfortable at the moment. Simon Booth down there, over his head and dead in goal.
Well, that's a handy kick for Canberra. Now that means that they should get possession back here from a goal line dropout. Bad mistake by Balmain.
It's a good kick out towards Corpre's wing, and Corpre runs up. Well, we've got O'Sullivan off the field, Bacco injured, and Canberra may well regret this if Balmain gets in possession. But at the moment, it's the Raiders with the ball. Building up to something. Up the middle goes Wilson, tackled by Little Kane. Lance at dummy half. Henjack to Bacco. Not really stretching. Gives it well to Henjack there. Good pass. But Bacco struggling. Brennan. Well, O'Sullivan off really throws the Canberra attack out of gear. He's a linchpin of it. The last tackle, Henjack. This is another lottery ball. Jack's got time. He takes it well. Tackled by Gilbert and Hoffman. 10 minutes left in the first half. Ryan making a bit of a bust. Now Balmain get a penalty. It's against Wilson. And this is really their chance to drive play deep and do something.
Cunning little one from Wilson here. You'll watch and see him lift that foot up. There it is. Only a quick one, but it was there.
Saw Chris Ward before the game having a strong chat to both captains about players lying on the tackle man. And, that's fair enough. Doesn't do the speed, the tempo of the game any good to see it happen, and he's quick to penalise it. So the Tigers go up again. They're playing against 12, perhaps 11 and a half men. Bacco's still injured. Blind side. Flipped nicely. Pearce is playing it. Ryan onto Filipana. Roach. Bad pass. Henjack did well to catch it between his legs. Canberra clinging to a 2-point lead, but Don Ferner at the moment must be a bit concerned about some of his personnel, particularly Bacco, and the fact that they're down by that one man. But at least they're in possession here. Disjointed a little in attack. Well picked up by Bellamy, then to Giteau. Harassed by the defence to Bellamy. Bellamy sees a gap, he's going well. Got some support. Last tackle coming up in front of the posts. Brennan plays it. Giteau, another bomb. Gary Jack looming under it. He's missed it. He might have been taken out of the play. He was.
And a good decision. Yes, there's no doubt that Jack couldn't get near that ball. Some of those Canberra Raiders raided through there a little too quickly. Let's just have another look at it. Watch them coming through. Jack going up for it. And let's just see how close he can get to it. He certainly met those Canberra men before the ball came down to it.
So Balmain's fourth penalty in a row. But they're still inside their own half. So they really haven't taken advantage of this absence in the Canberra lineup. Not that they've had controlled possession. They have it now with Roach going on the blind side. Just send it wide for once, boys. See what's happening out with the backs. They're getting lonely. Ryan on the blind side again. Here's Hardwick. Well, if this is the pre-match plan, it's not going so well for them. The defence is holding pretty well near the ruck. Roach again. Last tackle. Elias, he'll kick. Goes past Aldous. A bit slow to get back there. He doesn't want to wait too long. I think a lot of that could be put down to the knock he took earlier on. He was looking a bit dodgy when he went back for it. Brennan. Backo's soldiering on with that knee. Left knee still seems to be worrying him. Gitto. Bit too big again, out on the full. Poor play by Gitto. And this really does give Balmain a wonderful opportunity. There goes Ryan, and he's in. An easy try from the scrum. No defence. Canberra down a man. They pulled the player out of the forwards, but he wasn't close to the scrum. And Balmain have hit the front. See how simple it was. Ryan picks it up, comes around to the open side. There's no one in close to stop him. Lance was standing wide, and Ryan beats him for the try. Filipana converts. Tigers lead 10-6. Well, you can see how simple it is. He picks it up, sights the opening. See, Lance was standing wide, and Ryan able to score the easy try. Chris O'Sullivan back on the field for Canberra. Could have done with him about 2 minutes ago. May have had some defence close to the scrum. But the Tigers in front. And now trying to rattle it out of their half. Elias to Clark. Back to Filipina. Line side again. Kane. Elias boots it. Aldous takes it cleanly. He seems to have recovered well enough from that knock now. Corkery. 3 minutes left in the first half. Wilson, well tackled by Ben Elias. Well, it hasn't been a spectacular game so far. As Hoffman goes up the middle, we've seen a fair bit of that style of play from both sides today, close to the ruck. Last tackle, Henjack hits a Balmain player, and they get the ball. Hardwick plays it. Kane. Backo made the tackle. Interesting to see if he stays on in the second half. Backo still throwing himself in, but you can see his left leg hanging limp almost every time he hits the ground. There he goes, wobbling away. Pearce in the dust. Clark going well. Finds Hardwick, who finds some defence. Last tackle for the Tigers. Filipina. Davidson trying to get it away back to Filipina. You need to throw a pass, he does. Ryan footsies it and finds touch. Well, that was a pretty good result for Balmain when it looked as though there'd be a handover. Henjack. There was a bit of space there. Ball Balmain up now. It's a run for Corkery and Booth. Booth back there, and he's got it. Good move by Henjack, though. You saw everyone was up in the Balmain line. Pierce. Davidson onto Humphreys. Walker's got him. Hardwick. Ryan. Bit of space there for him. And they make a mess of it. Off Billy Kane. It's gone back to the Raiders. Run up strongly by Aldous. Now it's Gitto. Wide of the ruck is O'Sullivan. There's Henjack. Henjack into a gap. He's got Corkery running with him. Henjack a bit of pace. The cover's across. Ryan's there. Ryan has him. They fire it back in field. Corkery gets it. Gitto heading for the corner. And he's just about there. Oh, it's so close for the Raiders. And there's the siren. So right on half-time, as a penalty to the Raiders. There's a penalty. What will the Raiders do here? Now let's see what happened here. Went back inside to Gitto. Elias was onto him. He kept going, and as he went down, it looked like they tried to shove him over into touch. I don't know what his success rate is from touch. If it's 70%, there's a good chance of this going over. There's the view. It's a shocker. It might be good for some of the Raiders players, though, but Elias has got it. He's tackled, and that's half-time. So at half-time, a tough encounter between these two sides vying for the 5. Balmain 10, lead Canberra 6.
Balmain narrow leaders in the scrums at half-time. No tight heads to either side. And in the penalties, they also have a good 5-2 advantage. The error count even, but Canberra have missed 15 tackles in the first half, something they can ill afford.
So the start of the second half, and Gitto slogs it downfield. Gary Jack takes it and knocks on. So a scrum close to the Balmain line, and an early chance for Canberra. So Canberra in this half have Ron Sigsworth on the field in place of Sam Bacco. Ron Sigsworth at fullback, and there's Mick Aldous packing into the scrum at lock. Out the same tunnel, they were trying to fudge a move with the inside pass. O'Sullivan to feed. Back to Henjack. Gitto dropped it. And there's been a fumble. Filipina wearing 24, knocked on. Gitto knocked on, so it's Ryan with it. And the Tigers, they weren't all that impressive in the first half, nor were the Raiders. Hardwick. So looking at the total tackles, Hoffman as ever high in the count, along with two of his stalwart forwards, Ashley Gilbert and Mark Brennan. Roach dropped the ball. Hoffman is going to play. Wilson. Brennan. For the Tigers, Ben Elias the best tackler. Behind him, Bill Kane and Paul Clark. Only a couple of games in first grade, a little bit of hard work. Gitto. Whoa, onto O'Sullivan. Excite them. He's trying to. Flung to the ground by Roach. Lance stirring up the forwards. Often has a quick chat to them. Henjack's high one. Jack coming up, but it was Humphreys who knocked it down, and Billy Walker's got it. Count starts again. Canberra used that bomb well. Ronnie Sigsworth. The Raiders trail by 4. Lance. Hardwick and Roach tackle. Henjack. Aldous, and he's over. What a try. Busted them easily. Waltzed past Bill Kane to score a simple try. Now watch Mick Aldous playing at lock now. Come onto this pass. Elias there and Kane. He brushed them off and went in for a simple enough try. Yes, sir. Straight through. And that gives the Raiders a lead. And just see how easy this was for the Raiders. Henjack fed the pass. Mick Aldous close to the ruck. Elias missed him. Kane missed him. Clark had an attempt at the last gasp. Easy try. O'Sullivan. Sigsworth. A bit flat-footed there. Get someone running onto it. Bellamy. Lance. Well, it worked out well for Walker. O'Sullivan to Gitto. There aren't too many exciting attacking forces here at the moment. Last tackle. What are we going to have? A bomb, a kick for touch. Bellamy, a bomb. Jack, plenty of time, and takes it, well, comfortably. He's on a run. He's on a beautiful run.
He took the referee with him, I think. Chris Ward just having a spill at the same time.
Roach. We'll see if the Tigers can do something positive with the ball. Clark. Geez, there's a lot of one-out play here today. Hardwick to Filipina. Back inside to Pearce. Pearce bends. O'Sullivan has got him, but he slips it to Clark. Back to Ryan. Pearce again. Oh, he almost slipped a nice one there for Humphreys. Lance tackle. Clark again through Elias. Filipina. Now will he have a go? Yes, he does. Sets it up. Elias coming through. Last tackle. Roach. Davidson trying to split. Back inside, and good defence stops Hanrahan on the last tackle. It's a handover. From Sigsworth. Back there in defence. And the Raiders have to work it back upfield. Lost it in the tackle. A scrum. Mark Brennan lost possession. Ryan, replacement from the first half after Steve Martin was injured. He's had almost 2 full games here today. Away he goes. Scored a try like that in the first half. Filipino. Pearce. Hanrahan. Balmain pretty clumsy with the ball at the moment. Jack on the blind side. Humphreys in the corner. Good try. Good thinking by Gary Jack. And a nice finishing touch from Stephen Humphreys. So Balmain back in the lead. He was going to go the open side, saw a chance on this side, and watch how he slips a nice pass, Walker's off his wing, and Humphries goes hard at the corner, brushes off the cover tackle to score. Whack. Looks all right, this one. No, just to the left. Whacked it well, but inaccurate. See, now Jack changes his mind, heads for the blind side. Humphries is looming up like a gazelle, takes the ball on the move, heads for the corner, and knocks over O'Sullivan to score it. 25 minutes left on the clock, plenty of time. Hanrahan, Davidson, and Booth wrapped up. Ryan, downfield. I think he was looking for a thinner version towards touch, but he's got them back peddling. Sigsworth, chased by Ryan. Sigsworth, all just into the field of play. Ryan goes for a kick through, and he very nearly got a try out of it.
Bit of quick thinking there by Ron Ryan, and quite aggressive play, quite legal but aggressive. Just watch him marking here. Very slow play the ball, and Ryan kicks it through. And just look how close it was, just grounded in the in-goal area by the Canberra player.
Elias. Jack. Nice step. Lee Kane. Now Balmain working hard to crack it again. Ryan. This will test the Canberra Raiders. Balmain have got the edge by 2 points. Clark, close to the ruck, he's made the bust. This will be a try to Roach. Close to post, easy man. Well, you could sense the bust was going to come. Balmain winding up. That's the way they've been playing all day, close to the ruck. Steve Roach is delighted. Paul Clark it was who set off in the dummy half position. No marker there. And he sets it up for Roach to go steaming in for a comfortable Tiger try. 6 tries to Steve Roach this year. Filipina, yes, straight through. It's a good lead for Balmain now, 20-12. Now here's young Paul Clark from dummy half. He makes a little break, catches the defence off guard. It was a bit slack there. Comes at Ron Sigsworth and sets Steve Roach up for his 6th try. He scored the most for Balmain this year. Jack. Ryan heaves it out to Pearce. Stands in the tackle. Ryan again. Billy Kane. Roach goes up. Back to Clark. Strong games, those two. Ryan again. Elias looking for a touch. It's not bad, it's there. Great kick. Well, Don Ferner will be a pretty worried man just at the moment. His team down by 8 points, and Balmain down near the Canberra line.
Steve Roach has just left the field, and Kerry Hemsley's gone on to take his place.
Sigsworth. Wilson. Bellamy. Sullivan. It's the last one for the Raiders. Who's going to put it to the boot? Gitto. Straight down to Jack. Just evades him for a moment. Now he's on his way. Stepping well, but not past the defence. Craig Bellamy. Boo. Lovely tackle again from Bellamy. Hemsley. Replacing Roach. Kane. Elias. Pearce pops it back to Elias. Elias is still going. And a nice one onto Clark. Clark looks for some support out to Hardwick. And Hardwick held up. Good play by Ben Elias. Got the bounce. Last tackle, Hanrahan to Filipina. Oh, one more to Humphries would have been close. Filipina's almost there anyway. Handover. That would have really finished the Raiders, I think, if Filipina scored. So now the Raiders have to recover, and he lances into touch.
That's really a bad error by Canberra, getting the ball back there in the handover, and in the first tackle being pushed into touch. They really have put themselves under enormous pressure here, and if a try eventuates from this scrum, they can almost say goodbye to 1984.
Tiger ball. Filipino juggled it. If he could get up a full head of steam from there, he'd be very hard to stop, but they got him before he'd moved. Pearce. Hanrahan. Hemsley. Hemsley can't unload it. Wilson making a good tackle. Elias now. Onto Kane, charging at the line. The Tigers know it. A chance for them to seal this. Elias. Hemsley. Pearce. Pearce stepping. Sets it up. Away it goes. Hanrahan. Gavin Hanrahan has scored for the Tigers, and that's just about the ball game, folks. Now watch the play here. They were working up to it. And finally, Hemsley stood in the tackle, gave it away to Pearce, cutting back infield, and gave it to flick the pass up for Hanrahan. And there were just too many men there for him. Well, the Canberra defence has been under a deal of pressure lately. Some of it of their own making, with mistakes in possession. And it will require a super effort for them to come back into the game.
Robert Dunning, Canberra player on the sideline, looks like he's coming on to make a replacement. He played prop forward in 3rd grade today, so it'll be interesting to see what position he takes.
Also, Filipina getting used to these kicks from near the posts. Straight through. The Tigers lead by 14 points. And here it is going out to Hemsley. Sets it up for Pearce, and Canberra not able to finish the play off. Pearce stepping back inside and gives it out to Hanrahan, who scores only his 2nd try for this season. Near halfway from Ryan. One from Elias. It goes to Gary Jack, and from fullback, chased by Dunning. Hemsley again. There's Ryan. Canberra really been tested today. They haven't looked quite the same side when they've had to chase points. Olsen Filipina, busy with the ball. Elias. Well, that's what the referee reckoned. It was a knock on.
Well, still no tight heads in the match. Balmain leading the scrums 9-5.
Built by Sigsworth. Ryan's got it away to Hanrahan, stepping. Clark fired a good pass to Filipana. He does the push off. Back to Clark. On to Hardwick. Hemsley again. There goes Elias. He split it. Finds support. And a great try scored by Wayne Pearce. Ben Elias setting it up. He's been in the thick of things today. He's won the scrums, he's kicked well, he's run well, and he passed well. A finishing touch for the Tigers. Here's Hemsley, setting it up well for Elias. Gilbert looking a bit tired. Into a gap, back inside. Pearce flashing through, and Pearce going well, has scored another good Balmain try. Paul Clark coming off the field, so is Nigel Wilson for Canberra. Clark's had a big game. Filipana's enjoying those kicks. Now it's Hemsley who shifts it towards Elias. Now Elias has got tremendous pace, hasn't he, for a hooker, because he's played in a lot of other spots, including half. And he puts it up for Pearce, who cracks onto the ball, goes hard and scores. And that's the man of the match, Ben Elias, a former Australian schoolboy, has had a big game today. Inside the last 5 minutes. Mike Marquito on the field for Paul Clark. Elias again through Pearce. Walker made the tackle. It was a bit high, I think. And it's going to be a penalty against Billy Walker for that high tackle on Hanrahan.
Only the second penalty in the second half, one to each side, so it's been given every chance to flow by the referee.
Humphreys. Hemsley again. Whacks into him. Filipana. Just couldn't get the traction on the dust. Marquito. Hemsley. Wayne Pearce. Well, Balmain might finish with another try here. They've been all over Canberra in the last 20 minutes. Field goal from Elias. Not bad. Well, that adds a little bit to it. He's had a big game, and he's capped it off with a field goal. It was simple enough. The defence wasn't really moving up on him in a hurry. He took it, he had a look, and flopped it beautifully over the black dot. 21 points clear, Balmain. Big winners today, keeping alive their hopes for the 5. Giteau out on the full. It has not been Canberra's half.
Well, they certainly can't do anything right. And yet, surprisingly, now that we look at the score and Balmain are 21 points clear, it's hard to believe that Canberra were leading in the 4th minute of the second half by 12 points to 10.
There he is, Laurie Nichols.
Laurie's had a big day today.
A true Tiger. Give it your best, Laurie. There's Frank Stanton, about to smile. He should be cheerful enough after this performance, but there's a couple of areas of play he'd be concerned about. Some of the defence, perhaps. They've done well in this second half. So the Tigers about 20 metres out. Time almost up. Pierce. Laurie Nichols egging them on for another try. Oh, it's Filipana. At last he's made a bust, and he could score. He does. Well, the locomotive got moving out wide. Casey Jones said go, and that was it. He was in. Well, they got the big man moving out wide. A good ball fired to Filipana into a little gap. He runs at Sigsworth, steps well too, and tries to shrug off the defence. Does it well and just gets the ball down.
Well, tackling's the thing that's let Canberra down in this match, and it's really the thing that won them the game last week. Their defence was tremendous against Manly last week, and yet today they've missed 36 or 37 tackles in this game. Far too many.
He's been throwing them over for the last half hour, Olsen Filipana. Well, Tiger fans will be loving every minute of this. There's the big man, Olsen Filipana. Oh, look at the step. Wasn't that neat? And he shrugs off Dean Lance to cruise in. Giteau kicks off again. Down towards Gary Jack. Humphreys. Gary Jack following. And that's full time. Right on full time. A big win here to Balmain. They stay in touch with the leaders in the race for the semi-finals. Balmain overpowering Canberra in the second half, winning the game 39-12. Now the scoring details. Plenty of details here. Try apiece to Ryan, Humphreys, Roach, Hanrahan, Pearce and Filipana. Olsen Filipana kicked 7 goals from 8 attempts, and Elias kicked a field goal. In fact, Balmain scored 3 tries in the last 15 minutes of the game. The tries for the Canberra side, O'Sullivan and Aldous. Giteau kicked 2 goals from 2 attempts. At half-time, Balmain led 10-6. Canberra actually led 12-10, and then that was it. It was all over. Shut the gate 39-12, the final score.
Very good evening, everyone. Sunny and cool for Sunday. That's the outlook for most of the New South Wales for tomorrow, except a few showers persisting about the southern highlands and even some possibility of some more snow. Some snow fell there today and last night in general light rainfall pattern over most of New South Wales. The falls out in the west were very light and scattered, most of the falls below 3 millimetres, and most of the activity was down in the south with the heaviest fall of 50 millimetres up until 9 o'clock this morning, with some snow down in the snowy mountains, and also some heavier falls up in the northeastern corner, 25 at Murwillumbah and 22 at Tenterfield, but all the other falls were 10 millimetres and below. Then today most of the shower activity concentrated itself to the central parts of New South Wales. Once again the heaviest fall down the snow is at Perisher Valley, this time with 7 millimetres, and again some more snow in that. Temperatures today of course were well below average for this time of the year. Sydney's range 8 to 17 was right on average, but the top was Upper Casino with 23 degrees. The cloud chart, and the cold front has now moved well away out into the Tasman, but the cloud over New South Wales is low level cloud, indicating also a lot of cold air in the upper atmosphere. But that cloud, that's an early morning picture today, and that cloud is now moving over towards the ranges and the coast, and that's where it'll be concentrated tomorrow. On the surface chart there's really not much to talk about because we have a very deep low pressure system here, and that's directing this cold southwesterly winds over New South Wales, and it's only moving very slowly, and by 9 o'clock tomorrow morning we'll see not very much change, just that the low has moved out of the Tasman, still getting the southwest and southerly air over New South Wales, but we have this high pressure system ridging up into Queensland, and that's bringing about a stabilising influence, particularly out in the western parts of the state, and it's tending to push that cloud, as we saw, over towards the ranges and to the coast as well. The forecast for Canberra, simply fine with some westerly winds, and the temperature range from 0 to a top of 12 degrees. The general forecast then for the state, overnight some showers again, and into tomorrow in the ranges area, the central and southern ranges, snow again down the snowies. Some snow today up at Orange, and the Weather Bureau is forecasting the possibility of some more snow in the central highlands again for tomorrow. But over the rest of the state it'll be sunny and cool, but mostly sunny along the coast because there is the chance of that cloud just moving away from the ranges and coming down onto the coast. But generally cool right throughout, and of course cold in the snow and shower areas of the highlands. Country centres, the temperatures, not very much change on today's temperatures, just 1 or 2 degrees up perhaps, but along the coast the temperatures are 1 to 2 degrees below average. Inland anything up to 5 degrees below average for this time of the year. And in Sydney a short while ago the temperature was 14 degrees, 53% humidity, the winds from the west at 20 kilometres per hour, and the barometer is 1003 and rising. The forecast for Sydney, Newcastle and Wollongong, the temperatures are the same, and also the outlook, and that's for a cold night, a cool day, and mostly sunny with northwest to southwesterly winds. And the temperatures for the Sydney city area 8 to 17, Liverpool and Richmond 5 to 17 for Liverpool, Richmond 3 to 17 degrees. Good night.
Welcome aboard the Blackbird and the Maribyrnong River. My name is Peter Somerville and the other crew member is my son Warwick. This is the main river of Melbourne. The other one is only a tributary, which we know as the Yarra.
In Weekend magazine this Sunday, the story of Melbourne's other river, the Maribyrnong. Today the river's future is looking bright, but once it was an industrial sewer.
1890s, the river was so heavily polluted, she was blood red from the rubbish from the meatworks that were put into the river and the boiling down works. And the Australian meatworks, they were slaughtering something like 1,000 sheep a week, and all their waste was put into the river. The only trouble is that on the Maribyrnong, where the meatworks were established, we're over 32 miles from the heads from Bass Strait, so none of the rubbish ever got to the sea.
But the forgotten river is much different now. You'll see why in Weekend magazine this Sunday.
Archive film, taken on some of the greatest journeys of exploration and adventure this century, offers a unique opportunity to travel a world that no longer exists. Travellers in Time. 8 o'clock Wednesday on ABC, your national network.
Yes, and Wayne, what's your view of that particular thing?
Yeah, I believe that there's no sort of real need at all to have longer kicks. You know, the players are forced to stay out there on the field for the same amount of time, and
longer periods of time.
Longer periods of time. So I reckon the kick should be completed in a much faster time.
Yeah, well, unfortunately, kickers now, knowing that the end of the end period, the length of the game doesn't matter because the time will be taken out, are just going longer all along. And I'll be doing some time and motion studies on the match today again, and I bet you we come up with some more information on that. Well, Wayne, the first loss yesterday for the season, would you say Balmain have been knocked off their pedestal?
Well, I think it's made us aware of the fact that we're not as good, or probably not as playing as well as sort of some of the reports in the papers had suggested. And I don't think it'll sort of do us too much harm at all in terms of the games that we've got coming up against Manly and East. I think it'll wake us right up. And
Wayne, I felt that your forwards let you down badly yesterday, both in defence and in attack. They were too wide. They were outside you as a lock forward. Your front row forwards were outside you. And what about those holes that both Johnson and Anderson went through, right through the middle of the ruck there? Surely there must be something said to your forwards about that.
Well, Frank, that's been a problem of ours all year. It's been our defence. And our defence as a unit. As individuals, you know, we were all pretty good defenders, but as a unit, we tend to leave gaps for the opposition to come through. Yeah.
And Wayne, you had a lot of success, 4 wins in a row. Did you have a little bit of complacency because Canterbury under strength? You know, did you go on the field yesterday as a captain, not you, but players say, well, this is an easy game? Did that creep in at all? I think subconsciously as a side we did sort of underestimate them, and I'm sure we won't take that attitude again this year.
Well, that was young Johnson, the hooker, involved in that try twice. Now, this is an interesting move, a crisscross move. Seems to be a planned one, was it?
Yeah, we've got that on our books. We try it every now and then. It's come off a couple of times.
You notice there was not one forward involved in that movement. I'm sorry to harp on it, but that was straight from the halfback, and there was just the backs. And I just wondered why you didn't use them more yesterday, Wayne.
Well, Canterbury upset us a little bit with their defensive pattern. They sort of defended really well against us, and we hadn't come up against that sort of defence this year and put us off our game a little bit, but I think we've learned a lot from that.
And the best side you've met this year, Wayne?
Yeah, they were the best side out of the games we've played, for sure.
Yeah, for sure.
Canterbury turned the corner, I thought, in their search for credibility in 83 with this one by convincingly defeating previously unbeaten Balmain Tigers 18-14. I thought they were ferociously led by Taz Batiri. I thought he had as good a game as I've ever seen him play. They sustained a great tackling effort to frustrate Balmain into 13-7 error count against you. There were a lot of passes went down, and despite a 13-8 penalty count in their favour, the Tigers, they only came alive in the second half. What did Frank Stanton say at half time? But you can tell us.
Well, what I can tell is that we realised that we had a strong wind behind us in the second half, and it was freshening, and we knew that if we could sort of maintain our pressure, and we knew that we're a fit enough, young enough side to keep to stay in the game, then we knew we were in it all the way. But we still let Canterbury through those gaps in the second half, and we just can't afford to do that. And not only did they score tries, but they bombed a couple of tries too, you know, in that second half one, with the lock forward folks on one occasion, and then of course that one when Johnson went through and he had 3 forwards alongside him and they didn't capitalise on the reach.
What about that Greg Sankey performance at fullback for Canterbury Bankstown? Did you impressed with him, Col?
Well, I didn't see the game yesterday.
Well, have a look at this for a young lad playing, I think, his full first grade game. Now watch him take this bomb in the in goal, running backwards, which is not an easy one to do, falling and taking it. That was a very good take. Yeah. Here's another equally good take. So talk about Greg Brentall. They've produced another very good one. There's another one, and gets back into the field to play. Yes. Watch this tackle on Lawson, midfield. Now, Lawson would have got a big bake, I think, from his supporters, Balmain supporters, for being allowed to be tackled, but I thought Sankey came in so quickly to him that he sort of nullified it. And look at this take.
Well, where's he been hiding with Canterbury? He's played 100-odd games with the Canterbury club.
They've got a very good player there in Sankey. That's one of the best debuts as a fullback I've ever seen.
Yeah, I was most impressed with the young bloke there. He had a good game.
The long break by Gould. Now, this indicates just how superior Canterbury were in the early part of the game. These sort of breaks right next to the ruck. Something should have come of this. He threw the dummy and was tackled by Jack, a good head-on tackle. And then shortly after, we had the same situation with Chris Anderson, who I thought kicked needlessly at this point. I'm pretty sure it wasn't on the 6th tackle. I'm pretty sure it wasn't. But the kick was far too long and it eventually went over the dead ball line.
The idea was good, but the execution was poor, actually.
Yeah, but I would have thought the old thing is you get up and start again in a rugby league game if you tackle that.
But he had no one in front. I think it was a good idea to kick.
He didn't have his support there.
Take the tackle.
Yes, but even so, shredded. As a winger, you could expect to have more pace than a fullback turning around and chasing on. And had the kick been well directed, he may have scored a try.
Yeah, you gave me a couple of good ifs there. If he'd done this and if the kick had been well directed.
It's an explanation though, Rex.
We were taught as juniors when I was a kid in rugby league, the great thing is that you can get up and start again. So why lose the impetus?
Rex, we were taught a lot as juniors in rugby league when you and I were little fellas that they don't do now.
Yeah, I think they were wearing, what were they wearing, sun hats and pith helmets and that's PITH helmets in those days too. The disallowed try to Gary Bridge. This was an interesting one. What did you think of it, Gary?
From my angle where I was, Rex, I was a fair bit down for it. I thought he did knock it on, but
knocked it into the end goal.
Yeah, but I thought there was a try that could have gone our way earlier on when was Greg Lane scored.
Yes, the referee was well positioned as an offside pass, not only forward but an offside pass, wasn't it?
Yeah, that's what he ruled on.
That's what he ruled on. That was a beautiful movement by Balmain. It would have been a sensational try if it had come off. But this really is one of the most incredible incidents I've ever seen a first grade footballer with Stephen Folkes getting into the in goal area. See it from the different angle and the great tackle there of Hardwick to dispossess him of the ball. Now he's over the line now, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 paces further on. He's given a real serve in the tackle. I mean, it was a very hard tackle, a swivelling tackle.
Excellent tackle, that one from
Wasn't
Ken.
it a
He's only 12 stone too, the second rower, and to sort of make that sort of effort was outstanding.
I don't think Folkes would do that sort of thing again. He tried to beat the opposition in the in-goal area, which is very dangerous.
The ball away there, Frank.
That's right. Let me just loosely for a start, Cobb, but I mean, going over the line and coming on an angle was bad football.
Let me just say this in conclusion. I thought Ted Glossop did a fine job. He's had a lot of criticism this week. And when you think he was without Brentnell, Gary and Mark Hughes, Steve Mortimer and Andrew Farrer, who was a late dropout, and had a new captain, Taz Batiri, and the replacement young Davies and Greg Sankey both played marvellously.
And to beat an unbeaten side in Balmain.
And I thought they went out with the object of stopping Philippine, Pearce, Jack and Bridge, and I thought you were all a little bit subdued in attack.
Yeah, they did bustle us, and I'd like to commend Taz Batiri. I thought he did an excellent job for them yesterday.
Well, one captain to another, that's very nice. Parramatta and Northstrom last week played at a very green, grassy, beautiful, lovely, soft surface of North Sydney Oval. Frank, you used to play on this ground in the days gone by. Was it ever a good ground?
Every bit of green you see is where I've bled.
all the fertiliser over the years. A couple of very good performances in this match with that young Spina. I think he's the most damaging player on the field in the tape that I saw. He made any fast burst, was a top player. His try after a great break from McKinnon and Brockwell was an absolute gem. The Eels got back into the game with a try to hunt from a Taylor bomb, but they had been comprehensively outplayed in the first half by a tireless and skillful Bears team. I use those two adjectives advisedly. Parramatta's eventual win was sealed only by a bit of sustained handling we're able to put together, and this is it coming up now as Taylor finally gets the pass away to Hunt for him to go in for his second try. Let me just reiterate, watching the tape, the full tape of this game on 2 occasions, I clearly come away with the opinion that Norths were the better team.
They're magic in the wet. They just seem to pick themselves right up. I don't know if it's psychologically or what, but
they can pick themselves up. Another team lets them feathers get a bit wet, don't they, for Manly?
And you'd be always happy when North Sydney did well, being an old North Sydneyanian.
As a matter of fact, I think they'd be much happier with the 2 points and being the worst side than losing the 2 points and being the better side.
They've always had that great ability to lose a game, haven't they?
That's right.
Out of the game, we had some interviews that Barry Ross did, and John Hayes, the coach of, I must say, the long-suffering coach, I shouldn't say that, but he may be that way before the end of the year. John Hayes was asked if he was disappointed that North played so well and didn't get the points, and the fact that his forwards dominated in the wet conditions. He had this to say.
Barry, unfortunately, that's the only thing you get paid for is winning, and we're very pleased with the players' effort, but very disappointed in the end result, naturally.
Well, in the conditions, your forwards, I felt, dominated the play.
Well, that's been our problem. The forwards haven't been playing particularly well. We haven't had a lot of luck. We've lost a key forward every game early in the match. Today we had our full pack in, or the best pack we can put on the field at the present time, and I thought they were magnificent. I was very pleased and not disappointed in one forward or one player for that matter.
Mark Graham, who's been out, had his injury problems this year, was asked about playing against Penrith today and whether he was over those injury problems.
Well, yeah, they're a very good side, and I hear they beat Manly, so, we're expecting another hard encounter. Let's hope we can get the 2 points this time.
And what about your injury problem? You're over that now and you're back in the North Sydney
Certainly
side?
Hope so, yeah. 2 years with North so far. I've played 50 games in this season, I've only played half of one and the whole one today.
That's right. Mitchell Cox is probably a player that's received more criticism than most this year in various areas, and Barry had a yarn with him about his problems.
Yeah, well, I'm only one in 13 players, and the team hasn't been performing that well. But today, they stuck to their guns. They tackled real well. They, played very well, and therefore I'm playing better myself.
Is there any justification in people criticising you, saying you've lost some speed from last year?
Well, I don't think so. I've put on a bit of weight, and maybe I have lost a bit of speed, but I don't think I've lost my form. Maybe I've lost a bit of pace, but I don't think I've lost that much form.
He's up to about 11 stone now. I guess he put on a bit of weight. Neil Hunt, who was the scorer of 2 tries on the wing for Parramatta, was asked about the reasonable handling from both sides in such bad conditions and how well Norths had played.
Yeah, it was, the ball wasn't too bad early, but near the end it was so slippery, it was unbelievable. Mick Cronin, he was just running with the ball and he scored it. It was just like a cake of soap.
And North Sydney, they played very well to really put the pressure on you guys today.
They're a good team. They'll worry a lot of teams. Like last week down at Canberra, anyone's going to struggle against Canberra down at their home ground, but under these conditions today they played real well.
And another one, the enigmatic Jack Gibson was asked why he switched Ella and Kenny. Listen to this.
Well, Brett wasn't playing any good at fullback. That's why I switched him.
And when Steve went to fullback, he was allowed to come into the back line when you had the ball and be back in these terrible conditions when they had the ball.
Well, I wanted some more action in that area, and he was puckering around there trying to dodge raindrops.
No comment. Ray Price was asked if they missed Peter Sterling at halfback.
Well, yeah, we did miss a little bit of organisation there, but Paulie Taylor went well. I don't really think it was that position that we missed. I think everyone was just reluctant to do their job. I don't know if the weather is an equaliser. I don't care who it is. Remember last year we flogged Eastern Suburbs in the wet weather. But, it is... I really believe weather is an equaliser. Norths played very well.
All right, on to Penrith and Manly last week, and surely nobody could have been prepared for that result. The Penrith kicking tactics and the power tackling of the Penrith forwards dominated the game, and it was a domination by 26 points to 4. Levy's kicking in general play was a constant threat to Manly, while the ferocious first-time tackling of the Panthers forwards killed any hopes Manly had. They bunched badly in attack and were penalised repeatedly for infringements of the 5-yard rule. Manly's form, I think, was fairly consistent with the displays they've frequently given in the past in treacherous conditions, and they did have a horrendous penalty count of 23-11 against them, and I dare say even the Kangaroos might have had trouble in winning a game with that sort of penalty count.
Yeah, we had similar counts to that overseas, but you don't really see that over here all that often.
No.
Yeah.
But you still won the matches, though, despite the penalty counts, Wayne.
Yeah, well then again, as I said, the opposition in some cases wasn't all that close on.
I tell you what, the penalty count had nothing to do with that lack of defence there, Rex.
Yes, quite. Nobody's making excuses. Nobody's making excuses at all. I indicate the bad defence from a replay of Platz's try. If you have a look at it, he goes through a halfback, Thompson, and a 5'8" Sigsworth. Now the next question is, where was a forward?
Exactly.
So it's all very well for a 16-stone forward to beat an 11-stone halfback and so forth. You expect that, but you expect also a 16-stone forward to be in front of a 16-stone forward, don't you? So that was a pretty bad performance. Now, as a result of that match, Max Krilich has made a reappearance in the Manly first grade side, not as captain, but as he was the successful captain of the Kangaroos, it's reasonable to conjecture whether, if he continues in first grade, whether he would be the Kangaroo skipper. Now, I asked Max this week about being dropped to reserve grade, and he had this to say.
Well, I'd say it was possibly the most disappointing aspect from my football career, yes, Rex.
Well, you kept your dignity throughout it. There weren't any outbursts in the press or in the media about what you were going to do and what you weren't going to do.
No, Rex, I kept a low profile on it. All I said that I was going to train very hard, play the best football that I could possibly do, and hopefully make first grade.
Is there any animosity between you and Ray Brown, the fellow that took your place?
No, not at all. Ray congratulated me for making first grade, as I did when he made first grade.
There were suggestions that you might have been out of the favour with Bob Fulton. Would you say that that's the case?
Well, I don't think that was actually the case. It's the treatment was at the beginning. Whoever played in the grand final side last year had the first go at it, and Ray performed quite well, and he got the spot.
Right. the conjecture about the captaincy of the Australian team. Which one of you gentlemen wants to go first?
As far as I'm concerned, Rex, whether he's playing reserve grade or first grade, it wouldn't surprise me in the least. It would please me if he was captain of the City side, the New South Wales side and the Australian side of New Zealand.
Cool. I think his record entitles him at the Grade 2 of 1982. He's entitled to be the captain again. Exactly.
Well, having played under him, Rex, overseas, I firmly believe he's the best captain I've ever seen.
Frank, no singing. You got the mail?
Yes, Chief.
Okay. He's got a nice voice, mind you, but not on this show. Right, Cronulla and St George from last week, and this resulted in a major upset, I think, in most people's eyes. Cole Pearce, would you agree with that?
Well, a major upset in one way. I suppose in other people's eyes it was a great thing for the Cronulla side, and they played particularly well. I thought the 2 points at the end of the game was not a clear dispute of the way the teams. Either was a 10-point margin, should have been a clear indication of the game. The way they played Cronulla, I thought it was a case of one team putting the tactics of the wet weather tactics. Terry Fearnley telling his players to go out there, well directed by their captain Gavin Miller. A magnificent display of wet weather football. St George, very disappointed with St George in the forwards, particularly their defence. They've got the best defensive record in the competition, St George, but their attack up front is just not there at this stage.
It's there for 20 minutes a game. They just won't put it together.
Not there at all.
We saw Reddy there going for a try, typical of how he played in England.
Have a look at it again.
How much of it do we see? We only saw that.
That's it.
That was all in the whole game.
Correct. That's all we saw. We saw a good try with Brian Johnson, the wing, but nothing from the forwards up front.
Well, they ploughed through the mud to pick up $60 a man after tax for their strong 14-12 win over the St George side. I thought Gavin Miller was the man behind the win. I watched the match on tape. Miller used long kicks and short kicks to continually turn St George around, and St George obviously don't like the business of turning around and having to reposition. Cronulla seemed to be more determined on the day, as is often the case when a club has major problems, as you'll be aware, and they're a very financially embarrassed club. Steve Rogers, at centre for St George, was back at his old form for the first time in his new colours, and on the St George performance he may have wished that he never left the Cronulla side.
Rex, the Sorensen boys played very strongly, both of them, and of course they're without Dane today, you know.
Yeah, I think there's only one worry there. It was the goal kicking though, Frank. That's a problem for Cronulla. I've said it before and I'll say it again. It's a problem.
Well, the smallest crowd I've seen, 1,365 people at Lidcombe Oval to watch Newtown and Western Suburbs go around last week. This was a sad thing. The ground was saturated but beautifully grassed. A long stoppage in the opening minute for a back injury to Newtown lock Paul Morris held up play for a hell of a long time. The first try of the match came from a brilliant kick and chase by halfback Scott Gale, who forced an error from Mark Bugden and gave the ball to winger Broughton to score. The tragedy is this young potential star Gale broke his arm later and is out for some time. Ferguson's try there for Newtown shortly after was disgusting defence by the West forwards. He'd run from dummy half and should never have been allowed to score. Ron Sigsworth's try was made by a good pass from 5'8" Michael Speechley, who impressed me a lot in the 2 games I've seen him play. The second Broughton try made it 12-all. We missed that try. The cameraman had a bit of rain on the lens. But Battersea and Batiste and Bugden received 10 minutes in the sin bin after an eruption of no consequence. Wilson kicked the goal to make it 14-all, and that was the end of the scoring for the day. And it's weird how easy it is for a footballer to be injured. Now, I'll just show you this. Young Scott Gale, I've known him since he was only a wee lad. Very talented player. Watch him now. We'll show it in slow-mo too. He's number 7. He tackles Ron Sigsworth, and his arm was broken then, at that point. Now, watch him get up and walk back, knowing that something's gone, holding his arm badly. Now, in slow-mo, just look at the ease of it, the simplicity of it. Sigsworth falls on his arm is what happens. At that point there. And he pulls the arm out, knowing something's gone straight away. And that is the simplicity. Now, a guy could play another 200 first-grade games, do 5,000 tackles like that and never hurt himself at all.
Yeah, you're involved in those sort of tackles all the time. It's a matter of life.
Well, you got through 20 tackles in the first half yesterday's match and about another 20 in the second half, I would think. 40 tackles, did you... There's no sign of any injury around the arm?
No injuries at all.
It's just one of those... when you're hot, and when you're not, you're not.
Lee Bridget Breaker telegraph pole, and that's what it's all about.
What was that one?
If you missed it...
You don't repeat it, do you? I missed that. Must have if you had ears like mine, you'd have dodgy arcers too, you know. Frank, I used to put my head in scrums, not like you standing out around the back. You were a gay centre. I shouldn't have said that. The word gay these days got a different connotation.
A bright centre.
A bright centre, yeah. Anyway, if the cap fits, wear it.
What's the name of your solicitor again?
I'll give it to you straight away. Can we make a settlement on camera? All right, Canberra and West from last night. Now, this was, you're going to see some pretty useful football in this match too, in front of about 11,000 people down there. Not there, because a try I think you'll find comes from this.
Yeah, eventually. It was a funny mistake he made all night, that fellow too, the full-back, Stevie O'Callaghan. Had a good game, the same fellow, Rex. Played very well indeed. Took a lot of bombs later on under a lot of pressure, this fellow.
Yes, I think you find Bevan as it goes in and scores around the...
scored the try, first try for Western Suburbs eventually.
There he is, from lock forward, after the...
There were some good tries scored, Rex. Good tries, particularly from Western Suburbs.
9 tries in the match, 6 to Wing 3/4, 3 to Fay, 1 to Blacklock, 2 to Broughton.
Yeah.
And you'll see some very good strong play from Percy Knight too, who's got a very good combination with O'Sullivan now, a little halfback who I think is his brighter halfback going around.
This is Blacklock.
Very promising halfback, yeah.
This fellow's not a bad foot. Batisi, that was a good try to Blacklock too, by the way. Put them back into the game at half-time, but they were behind at half-time, 14 points to 8. And not playing too well in the first half, but Don Ferner had a few magic words at half-time, I'd imagine. They came out and played for the 20 minutes. They played excellent football in that second half of the match and clinched the game.
Well, a major credit, I thought, had to go to the Canberra forwards, Cole.
Oh, played particularly well.
Grant Hardy, Hoffman, Gilbert. Bacco is a bit of a surprise too. I haven't seen him go around.
No, he's from Cairns. Had a season in Cairns last season and back again to Canberra this year, and certainly went around and done a lot of tackling last night. Tremendous defence.
He used to beat then if coming from Cairns, wouldn't he?
It'd be a good place to be coming from, wouldn't it?
Well, he formerly came from Canberra area down that way and went to Cairns last year and back again. But played particularly well.
And there's one of the Fay tries.
Well, he got 3 tries, and of course 2 kicking the ball through like it was George Best.
But on error of the opposition.
Yeah.
But it's sad to see, as one of our cameramen tries to knock the set over, it's sad to see a try scored like this. Watch the Spears try, because he had nobody standing in front of him to mark him.
Yeah.
And that was just a lay-down invitation to play the ball forward and pick up a try so easily. It's sad to see West not able to combat that sort of thing.
He had a good second half. Western Suburbs played well. There were a lot of mistakes in their football too, Rex. I mean, both sides had a lot of mistakes. Indeed, as Don said last week, they could have scored more tries against South. And indeed, last evening, they should have scored more tries against Western Suburbs. And the same goes for Western Suburbs.
Yep.
A lot of handling errors.
Anyway, happy for Don Ferner and unhappy for the Western Suburbs coach.
And there's a great ground down there too, the Seaford Oval. It's the first time I broadcast down there. Beautiful lighting and the service magnificent. Great ground. And
Did you come back this morning or last night?
This morning, Rex.
I thought you might have walked back.
No, I didn't walk back. I was here on time. What's up with you?
OK, Barry Ross, let's go to him now and find out. I think there's a number of changes. Let's see what they are.
Thank you very much, Rex. I'm glad this is not a fashion show, because Wayne Pearce is wearing the same tie as I am. Wayne, that's not that night out we had in Toulouse, is it?
I think we got it from France, yeah.
Yes. OK, firstly, the St George Illawarra game. St George, there are no changes. Illawarra, Craig Treneman is in for Wayne Springall at lock forward, and there's a very big doubt about John Doré playing for Illawarra. Parramatta and South. Parramatta, David Lydiard and Peter Sterling both out, and Will Harris and Gary Phillips in. South Sydney, no changes. Eastern Manly, in for Eastern Suburbs is Graham Atkins, and David Michael, dropped for not being on time at training, is out. Manly, bit of a team reshuffle there. Phil Blake is out. Chris Close stays in the centres. Zigbert to 5'8", Alan Thompson to halfback. Newtown and Cronulla. Newtown, Gary Stairs in. On the Newtown side, firstly, Jeff Coburn is out, one of the 7 forwards to drop out to lead the 6-man pack. Now Cronulla, Dane Sorensen out yesterday at training, and Gary Stairs in there, and Gavin Miller, I believe, will be the goal kicker for Cronulla. And the last game, North and Penrith. North Sydney, out Don McKinnon, in Steve Mayo at front row, and for Penrith, Brad Izzard is out of the centres, and Paul Yanane comes in there. Back to Rex.
Yeah, thanks, Barry. Well, there you've heard the ins and outs, and that'll give you a better idea of who's what the lineups are at home. So we'll see what the panel think about things here. We'll get. I think we'll get your opinion first, mate, because you've got your game out of the way, and you don't have to arbitrarily say Balmain will win, as all players do. So we'll get you out of the way, and with a bit of a reason for the St George and Illawarra game at Cogra. Do you think the Illawarra side have got the strength to go on with it?
I think St George will be doubly determined after last week's effort, and I'm sure they'll come up with the points.
All right, Frank?
I'll say St George, because it looks as though Dorothy will not play. He's had an operation during the week, and if he wasn't fit yesterday, he's not fit today.
Yeah, right.
He's got to go for St George, but I'd like to see it, and I'm sure the Roy Masters would like to see an improvement up front. There's no doubt about it. Perhaps you get it this afternoon.
Yes, it's inexplicable to me with the lineup they've got, how I've seen every tape of every game they've played this year and sat through it in full, and the lack of effort by some of the players on the side for long periods of time worries the life out of me, because St George used to be a club that was just built on effort. It was 100% effort all the time.
And they only got one forward, yeah.
Graham Wynn.
Graham was the only one out. All right, well, we've just put the mocker on St George. We've gone full love for St George. Parramatta and South Sydney. Now, South Sydney were the side that beat Parramatta twice last year.
That's right.
Bear that in mind, Wayne. They've been going bad this year.
That's why I've been thinking about this game. I've got a feeling that South's going to put a lot of pressure on Parramatta today, and I think it'll be a close game personally. And I'd probably go for Parramatta because of their record so far this year, but I wouldn't be surprised to see South get on.
All right, we won't let you sit on the fence. You're going for a Parramatta.
Parramatta, yeah.
What about you, Frank?
Well, I only allow one upset in a round, and that upset was yesterday, so I'll go for Parramatta to beat South.
Yes, I'm going for Parramatta.
Yeah, with major halfback problems, Sterling and Taylor both out. It's they're bringing up young players, but nonetheless, Parramatta side, you would think on a dry ground would be able to handle I think a fairly disappointing South Sydney side who don't appear to be able to score tries.
That's right.
No.
All right, well again, we've just put the mocker on Parramatta for love. East and Manly, I don't think we'll be so unanimous on this one. And Blake's out of the Manly side. He's a big attacking force. What's your view there?
Yeah, I like the look of East pack. They've got a lot of strength up front, and although Manly's got a good pack and a good set of backs to go with it, at the sports ground, I think East might just shade Manly.
All right, Eastern Suburbs to win that one. Frank?
I go for Manly to win it. Overall strength. East played well to beat Canterbury last week, and we can't forget what they did to Manly last time they played, and I don't think Manly will forget it either. That 44-2 or something.
Yes.
So I think Manly have the strength to do it on a dry day.
Cool.
Yeah, I think they've got a tackler back today too, Manly, that they missed, my word.
Yeah.
It means a lot to the Manly side too. It does a tremendous lot of defensive work, and I think it'll be a great game just the same, and East are well in the match, but I'm going for Manly on a dry ground at the sports ground.
Yes, a comment I'd like to make about is the improved form of Russell Gartner, the centre playing for Eastern Suburbs, formerly with Manly as a junior. I think he's playing the best football I've seen since '78.
There's several clashes to go against for East and for Manly.
Mike Eden
playing against each other.
Yeah, exactly.
Noel Clell and Kerry Bastin.
Yeah.
Well, there's certainly it's been a big build-up to this game. I go for Manly. Because there's been no heavy dew on the ground.
No rain.
So, but if there'd been a heavy dew, I might have gone the other way. So how were we? We're 3-1 there, were we?
I go for Manly.
We three going for Manly. So Wayne has gone the other way. Newtown and Cronulla, interestingly, out of this game was the fact that they've selected this young Andrew Ettinghausen, who is of German extraction as fullback, only 17 years of age. He was interviewed this week about being in first grade, and he was fairly modest about the whole business, and I hope he has a good game today. We got that one? No interview there with Andrew Ettinghausen. I'm sorry about that. I'm sure his mum and dad will be a bit disappointed. Anyway, we tried. OK, let's see who's going to win that one. Newtown and Cronulla? What?
Cronulla, I think.
Cronulla?
Cronulla for mine.
Yes, I'm going for Cronulla, despite the loss of Dane Sorensen.
Yes, I think it's anyone would be